Story 1. My wife cheated. Tips from someone going through it. Some unsolicited advice for men going through his wife's infidelity. Condensed backstory. My wife cheated on me with her boss. Our marriage wasn't great at the time. No excuse, but that's the reason, I guess. We are trying to reconcile. It's been about 3 months since I found out and are doing very well. Some things I don't recommend. Getting too many details. I wish I hadn't asked sexual details, location details, exact dates, etc. I now have constant reminders of the infidelity. I suggest getting a general overview and leave it at that. Stopping caring about your well-being because of the depression. I didn't eat or sleep almost at all for about a week after I found out. It made my anxiety, depression, and overall mood much worse. I suggest you keep your eating and sleeping habits intact, letting it consume every waking moment of your life. This one is hard not to do, but I highly recommend not wallowing in pity for longer than you need to. Things that helped me. Journaling. I don't know why, but writing down my inner thoughts was a great way for me to calm my nerves and get my head on straight. My kids. I focused all my attention to my kids, especially when I had my worst days. It's hard to not feel a little better about life while playing dolls with your daughter or basketball with your son. Focus on yourself first. I had no idea how much I disliked myself until I started a self-love regimen. I've never put myself first. My life was nothing more than a man whose actions revolved around raising kids and meeting deadlines. I had my kids at 18 years old and I immediately focused my life on being a parent and provider first, second, and third. I didn't know who I was at all. My routine involved complimenting myself out loud multiple times throughout the day, making lists about my strengths, my accomplishments, and things I liked about myself. I also made lists about what I would change and started working on those faults I have. Loving yourself is an absolute key to healing, in my opinion. Having a plan for bad days, intrusive thoughts. A sentence I like to say to myself when I get that sinking feeling and think about the past was nothing in the past can change. It's up to you how you want to feel in the present and future. Also, and this has helped me tremendously the last couple of weeks, is that moving forward, anytime I dredge up old details or feelings, I immediately change the subject of my thoughts to something else. For me, that's basically how can I be a better person right now. It's been 3 months since my D-Day. I still hurt and have bad days, but I feel like I'm getting on with my life fairly well. I've read some posts from others that are not doing as well, so my hope is to share my story and advice to hopefully help someone during their tough times. Reader comment. Kudos to you for taking on that burden. I agree 100% with your warnings. Each and every one of them is true. I forgave my now ex the first time I found out she was cheating. But no good deed goes unpunished. She cheated again a few years later and that was it. I divorced her. Original poster. I'm in the same boat. She gets my mercy and understanding this time. After all, people make huge mistakes. If it happens again, that's all I need to know. I'm out at that point. Reader comment. Great job, man. I wish you all the best. I would add to this accountability and work towards restoring some of the agency lost by the affair. Whether that's a post-nuptial agreement, her leaving her job, open phone policies, confession to family, etc. There needs to be clear action and a giving up of control by her to show that she will allow her husband to make choices that she stole. I would love to know in what way she has done this for you. Original poster. She has been very open with me. Changed jobs, listens to my fears, helps comfort me on bad days, open phone, location always on, very remorseful, patient, etc. She knows how much she hurt me and is owning it. She hasn't tried to place blame on anyone but herself. She's doing the right things. I don't know if I'll ever get over this or if we will last, but she is trying. Reader comment. That's great. The triggers will never go away, but they do lessen year over year. In time. Original poster. I know they won't, which is why I told others to not dig for info they don't need. I have 10x more things to be triggered from than if I just got the general outline. Story 2. Having issues reconciling my lack of feelings for her. She was my world. From the moment I set eyes on her, I was smitten. When she told me that she had always been attracted to me, I soared. When she told mutual friends how amazing and considerate, loving and caring I was, I decided at that moment that I was hers. When we started, I was on cloud 9. Everyone knew the love that I had for this woman, and people came out of the woodwork, explaining how they knew her, how she wasn't really the type to be honest, faithful, or loving, but I didn't care what they had to say. She was my best friend, my lover, my world, and I was committed to giving her everything that I could. I wouldn't be like the others. I would honor and cherish her, and that meant being understanding at times, forgiving at times, being the man and the husband that was always beneficial. She was first, and when she knew that, without question, how she could walk away, well, she answered that question in stunning relief. Those she claimed had abused her were the competition. They didn't even need to be relentless in their pursuit of her. She was constantly inviting them in, overtly, and for each just a friend she vouched for. There were 3 that she kept hidden, who would suddenly manifest in what she ascribes as innocuous, which turns out were absolutely not. She cheated the first time and was above board. She admitted it and swore that it was a mistake that she would never make again. She actually attributed it to a reason she needed to seek professional help. She admitted that she didn't know why she did it, but that she had done it with someone who had harmed her before, and she regretted it profusely. A month later she had left me for him. Then began the roller coaster. 3 months away, and then she asked to return although she was pregnant with his child. A month later she was gone again, back to him again, but secretly hoping that the child was mine. She stayed with him for 4 years, all the while dreaming and making plans with me, explaining her journey into her own dark side and seemings, and exulting in the new her and the changes that the therapist helped her achieve. My love remained pure and undaunted. I am so madly in love with this woman that I held on to the impossibility of her changes. The improbability of our potential nirvana was lost on me. It was a foregone conclusion no matter how many ways she showed me that her changes were as much illusion to her as they were to me. When she finally came back, this past May, she returned with a proposal for marriage. As I type this, I am stunned by the foolishness of it all. What made me believe that there was a chance with someone who took 4 long years in a spiritually, mentally and I suspect physical abusive relationship to actually honor a real and lasting love? I tried, as I always do, to give her everything she needed, and most of what she wanted. I sacrificed my own sanity, heart, and soul to give to her. Bought us the home she wanted, furnished it as she decided, cared for her children, who I claimed as my own, while she worked, gave her the space she needed, never leveled demands, though the few things that I did ask for were all seen as manipulations, or as triggers for her past controlling partner. Several times when I would simply stand up for myself, I would be accused of not being the man she thought I was. The final fight was over her need to maintain an amiable relationship with a man whom she was assaulted by, a man who debased her constantly to their child. You need to learn to forgive and forget, she said. Yes, he hurt me, but that was in the past. I need to maintain a positive relationship with him for the sake of our child. Was another reason. She decided that I didn't trust enough, and she left. She said to me, I'm worried about you, worried that you will forever be alone because you have all these impossible standards that nobody can live up to. She left. It should have been devastating to me. I invested so much in her and in us. My world should have crumbled around my ears. The last few times, I was destroyed. But you know what? It wasn't. I haven't cried, haven't yelled or cursed the heavens. I haven't grown cynical of love, or judgmental of women or relationships. I haven't shied away from affection or attraction. I have a beautiful home that I love. I have a wonderful cat that she left behind. I have learned to look at all I did and realize that I am capable of incredible amounts of love. I am ready to share that with someone who can appreciate it and love the same way in return. What I am reconciling now, what's very, very hard for me, is that I feel nothing. Never once had the urge to call her. And that's not me. For the past 4 years there was never a day that I didn't dream of her. Dream of holding her, loving her, and showing her what true love looks like, feels like. And that dream still lives on in me. But now, the leading lady no longer has a face. I'm struggling with this. It's been 2 months. Am I broken? Reader comment, you're over her and you should be. Sounds like narcissist. Original poster, true, and yes. I don't throw either of the N-words around lightly, but in this case I came to the realization that narcissism is what's really at play here. Reader comment, you have a chance to start fresh. Never look back at her. Original poster, I have started over anew. Last week I met an incredible woman, and I'm going for it. Full speed ahead. But I can't promise to never look back. She is exquisite to behold, and dreams die really hard for me. Reader comment, I'm gonna say some preaky stuff I heard before, but you never loved her, only the idea of her. You're realizing who she is and subconsciously knew what she was capable of. That's why you're not devastated the second time around. You didn't fail the relationship. You could be the best dancer in the world, but you can only do as well as your partner. Original poster, I agree completely upon every point you made, but one. I do believe that I love her, and oddly enough, I also believe that she loved me. But loving ourselves is where we missed. It's how we fell apart so easily. If I had loved myself more, I would not have endured as much as I did. If she loved herself, she would see the harm she does and could not accept it. I do agree with everything else though. I did not fail the relationship. I gave it my all. Story 3. I can't forgive her sister. I had posted about this a while ago. Short version. Fiance cheated on me for somewhere between 6 months and a year. Her sister covered for her and encouraged her. Fiance showed me texts where she expressed guilt about what she was doing and her sister encouraged her to keep doing it. He's an asshole and he's probably cheating on you anyway. You deserve to be happy. What he doesn't know won't hurt him and he deserves it, etc., etc. It's been a while now since I found out. Things are better. I believe her that she has stopped. She's expressed remorse. She gives me open access to her phone, all the right things. But I simply can't forgive her sister. The hatred I feel for this woman is all-consuming. Simply hearing her voice or seeing her will get me angry and I typically leave the room. After she stopped seeing the other guy, her sister continued to try to link her with different men and SHT on me in their conversations. Her sister continued trying to arrange outings where they would run into different men interested in my fiancé. She didn't stop until my fiancé went off on her and told her to cut the crap and respect her decision. But even then, there will still be little comments and indirect. She wants me to forgive her sister and move on. and I can't. The best I can do is stay silent. When my fiancé is invited to anything at her sister's house, she asks me to come, but I won't do it. When her sister comes over here, I avoid her like the plague. With good reason, because last time she came over she tried to convince my fiancé to leave me with our kids and go to the club. I know I need to get past this eventually, and putting my fiancé in the middle isn't fair. But her sister has absolutely no remorse. She knows how badly this experience hurt me. She was present as they got prettied up and walked out to meet the guy and get hammered. Saw me bawling my eyes out, laughed about it to her sister, and she just doesn't care. And I know that given the opportunity, she'll push it again. I've already seen the signs of it. If my fiancé were to express any kind of dissatisfaction with me in any way, her sister will be there to drive the wedge and bring in the guys. And I'm trying to trust my fiancé again, but the fact that her sister has and will try to make it happen again just sparks a burning hatred of her that I can't push down. Reader comment, I know I need to get past this eventually. Why? She sounds absolutely vile. You may not want to ask your fiancé to choose between the two of you, but you should definitely set a boundary where she shouldn't be allowed into your home. Original poster, because I don't want to keep reliving all this every time I hear her voice or see her face. She is absolutely vile. A disgusting human being in every way. Reader comment, yeah, but like you're aware, one of the big reasons I imagine that you can forgive your fiancé is because she admitted her faults, apologized, and is working on regaining your trust. What is her sister going to do to come to you and apologize? Hard to forgive someone who's not asking to be forgiven. Original poster, I wouldn't accept it if she did. The only way she would do that is if my fiancé pressured her to do so. It would be meaningless to me. She's already shown that she has no remorse, and her glee at seeing me in pain shows her true colors. A while ago I told my fiancé you don't decide whether someone is a good person based on how they treat the people they love and care for. You're supposed to be good to them. You base it on how they treat the people they don't love and they don't care for, the people they're not obligated to be good to. That's the measure. And your sister is just a bad person. She looked uncomfortable but didn't say much. Reader comment, you already are letting her in your house. This is a person who broke reasonable boundaries in your relationship. It is totally inappropriate for her to be alone with the sister who is actively attempting to sabotage your relationship. You do not owe anyone anything that has actively attempted to destroy your marriage. This includes your wife. While you have chosen to reconcile, that is not a blanket acceptance for your WP to allow people in her life, or your life, who participate in destroying it. Forgiveness gets thrown around a lot. You need to forgive to move on, or you need to forgive to be healthy. I had a shrink tell me this, and when I seriously asked questions as to what does it actually do, I am not moving on in a relationship with them. I can sleep like a baby most nights, and the nights I cannot sleep are from my own actions in other relationships. After much back and forth, he admitted that it is not necessary. I forgave myself, but that person is dead to me. Yes, I have seen her in the subsequent 30+ years, and she is just someone who I thought I knew when I was in high school. She might get a hey, and I walk right past her because the person I thought I knew never existed. So, what do you owe forgiveness to this viper for? Original poster, I owe her nothing. But I'm cognizant that the hatred I carry for her is not healthy. It's bad enough that when her sister is on FaceTime, I have to leave the room. I shut down, become quiet and tense. I start thinking about the bad times, and it all starts feeling fresh and raw again. It starts up like a broken record in my head. The time she has been at our home, I stayed on the opposite side of the house. My partner complained to me about this once. I shouldn't have to choose between my own family and my man. You don't need to be friends, but you should be mature enough to coexist. She doesn't get upset when you're around, she doesn't care. To which I responded, I didn't create this situation. You did, and she happily helped. You expressed remorse, apologized, asked for another chance, and are showing me all of that. Obviously, she doesn't care. She has no remorse. She didn't get betrayed like I did. So, she has nothing to be upset about when it comes to me. I have every reason to not want to be within 10 miles of this person. She hasn't brought it up since, and it's been about 4 months since her sister was here, but the holidays are coming, and I overheard a conversation around maybe them visiting on Xmas. I haven't said anything yet.